Flat hunting is not easy in London. Alrighty. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm gonna take you guys apartment hunting with me. Well, technically I already went and I already signed a lease, but I wanted to show you guys all the places I went, and I thought it'd be fun to have you guys sort of guess which one I went with. Although I feel like it's kind of obvious, like some of them are definitely like no's, like I'll tell you straight away, but like some of them I'm kind of like, maybe you guys will like this better than what I actually picked. If you're looking for advice on how to rent in London, I'll tell you about my process this time, but I did make a really detailed video last year that I think is still relevant, so I'll link that in the cards. So this year I did the same thing as last year where I mainly looked on Rightmove. I found that Rightmove has most of the listings, even with open rent listings, they're typically pulled into Rightmove as well. So there are, I think 2 listings that I went to that were also on open rent, so they were private landlords and not with agencies. I had some questions in my last video of why I don't use agencies, and I do use agencies, but just not in the traditional sense of I stick with one agent and I ask them to show me places. I find that in London, a certain agent doesn't cover all areas of London, especially if you're not very specific about what area you want. So typically agents just cover the area that they're located in. I could be wrong, but that's what I found was most of the agents that I worked with. Unless you're looking to buy, I think that would be different, but to rent, most of the agents kind of specialize in their own area and they just want to show you their own listings or listings in that area. Yeah, and like in a certain area, there'd be a lot of listings. So I think you could go with an agent if you're very specific about what you want, but I was just kind of looking anywhere that was sort of close to central London. So let's first talk about what I was looking for in my new place. I think I'm gonna post a vlog after this where I kind of talk about why I decided to move. I know a lot of people love my current place. So what I'm looking for this time is mainly I want a better location. Although where I'm living is pretty convenient in the sense that it's right next to the Jubilee line. I can get into central London within 20 minutes. The area itself, it's still kind of developing, and although this island is really nice, it just doesn't have that neighborhood feeling. So that's one of the main things I'm looking for, a better area where it feels more walkable. There's like, you know, cafes and like little stores and local boutiques nearby or something like that, and like a nice park. So my second priority, I think then would be if it's in that kind of area, I still want it around the same price I'm paying right now. I think I'm willing to go a little higher for like the perfect place if I fall in love. But I think I'm more comfortable sticking around my current budget. And then my third priority would be, of course, lighting. So I film YouTube videos, so of course I want a lot of light in the place. Also, it just makes me depressed if I walk in somewhere and it feels dark. So definitely lighting is really, really important to me. In terms of size, I'm good with going smaller actually. I don't mind going smaller for a better location. Now that the city's opening up, I'm going out more. I'm probably gonna be spending a little bit less time at home. So I don't mind that if it's a smaller studio place. So I'll be looking at both studios and 1-bedrooms, but for the areas I'm looking for, I'm not hopeful of finding a good 1-bedroom. And then the last 2 things, which are bottom of my priority, would be charm, and if it's unfurnished, that'd be great. So my current place is furnished and I never felt 100% like it was how I liked it. So this time, like now that I'm moving, I really want a place that's I can make my own. So whether they already have furniture that's my style, which I find is very rare. Usually they're like dark, durable furniture, and that's kind of not my aesthetic. And it would be nice if the place had kind of some natural charm of its own, whether it's like, you know, the molding or like just the style of the room. And just a warning right now, sorry for some of the shaky footage. I'll insert listing pictures where my footage wasn't really good enough. I felt kind of awkward filming sometimes because like, you know, the agent's there or like there's other people showing. All right, let's get started with the first place. All right, so the first place, I actually didn't see it in person because I asked the listing agent to send me a video and I decided that it was not worth it to see it in person. This was one of the first properties I inquired at. So this property was in Bayswater, right by Notting Hill. It was a great location, really close to Hyde Park, like walking distance, and in Zone 1. It was listed for £1,192 and it was 269 square foot and it was a studio. So I asked about it and was going to do a showing. From the pictures, I kind of knew that this probably wasn't it, but it's very similar to a typical studio you would see in Notting Hill, and I really wanted to see if I was okay with that size and you know, the area and how it is. So I was like, you know what, I'll just go see it for fun, right? But the agent sent me the video and instantly I was just like, you know what, this is not worth seeing. So mainly because in the photos, of course, they took everything with a wide angle camera, so it looked quite spacious, and I just don't have a good sense of what, you know, 1 square foot looks like. But I could tell from the video, like when you open the door, the bed is like literally 2 steps from the door, and the finishings in the place wasn't great, just in terms of like, to get it to what I would like and my style, I would prefer just everything be white. You know, I can just start off as a blank plate, but there was like some weird tiling in the washroom and the kitchen. The cabinets were kind of like an off-white color. Just a bunch of things that were just like, this is gonna be a lot of work. And even the furniture that was there wasn't quite my style either. And the price, of course, wasn't cheap. It was only like, I don't know, £60 less than what I'm paying right now for a lot less space, a better location. But yeah, it just felt like I just wasn't motivated to go see this property, so I decided against it. All right, on to the next place. So this place I actually saw in person. So this place was in Northwest London in Zone 2. It was a little over my price range at $1,400 per month, but it looked great, so I thought I could make it work. It is 484 square foot, and this one is a 1-bedroom. It was a really great location in Zone 2, but it was 5 minutes walk from the nearby station. And if you know, like the Zone 2 isn't that far out. I'm not too familiar with all the areas in London now, so when I got there, I actually really liked the area. From the station, it was like a 5-minute walk, and in that area there was like a low quaint street with like boutiques and cafes. It was very quiet and residential, full of these kind of like old Victorian houses, which were really beautiful. So when we got to the property, there was already 2 or 3 groups looking at it, so it was quite busy. When you walk in, there's like a long hallway and the washroom is on the right. The first thing I noticed there wasn't really a real proper washroom mirror, but that's fine. A plus was that there was a bathtub, definitely a rarity in London, I feel like. And then I went down to the end of the hallway, which is a kitchen, which I thought was a good size for like a standalone kitchen. It had a big window that faced the backyard, which was really pretty, and it also let in a lot of light into the kitchen, which I was missing in this current place. It's quite dark in the kitchen area. Also, I liked that the kitchen was kind of its own place. A lot of times, even in 1-bedrooms, the kitchen is part of the living room area, which you'll see in another place later. So I thought it was a kind of a nice addition that the kitchen is separate. And then to the right of the kitchen is the bedroom, which was humongous actually. I think it's because this flat had really tall ceilings, but it made the bedroom seem really big. They had like this big built-in IKEA closet, the Pax closet. I think I had it in Canada as well, which was really nice and spacious, and it actually came with the place, so that was a nice addition. The bedroom was big enough for like a big double bed and a working desk, which was nice, and there was still space kind of around it. And then we walked back to the living room area, which was right next to the door, which was also quite spacious. There was just a lot of furniture in this flat though. Just online, I knew the furniture wasn't quite my style, but it looked pretty like updated and modern and new, and I thought like maybe I could make it work. When I actually came to a flat, a lot of furniture was old, and I would probably need to negotiate whether removing some of the furniture or whether it was okay for me to replace the furniture. Another thing is like I feel like a lot of people don't consider this, but places with long hallways actually kind of waste a lot of space. It's like the space that you could be using as living space, but because there's a hallway, you know, you're kind of losing like 20-30 square foot. So that was like a little thing about the place, but overall this was a really nice place. It had windows on both sides, it let in a lot of light, and it still felt quite spacious, which I liked. On to the third place. So the third place was in North London. It was £1,250 per month, also in Zone 2. It was 426 square foot, so a little bit smaller than the place before it, and it was a 1-bedroom as well. When I looked on the map, it was probably a little further out in zone 2 than I wanted. But when I got to the area, same thing was last time. I actually really liked the area. There was also that same like little quaint street with, you know, boutiques, cafes, and like local stores. And then the flat was also located in kind of like a nice neighborhood that was 5 minutes a walk away from the station. That felt like kind of residential, but at the same time really lively. So this flat was on the second story of a house, which I thought was nice. So you're not quite ground level and you kind of get a little, I feel like you get a little more light when you're not ground level. My first thought when I walked into this place that it was really bright and airy, which was unexpected. So when I walked in, immediately in front was the washroom, and it was super big actually, bigger than necessary I feel like for a washroom, but it's kind of nice. It was really white and airy, which I liked, although it is had a little bit of that public washroom feel. I think I could make it really cute with like plants or things like that just to brighten it up. And then immediately to the right of the door is the kitchen living area. So this place had the kitchen and living area combined, which wasn't too bad actually. The kitchen's kind of like sectioned off into one corner. The only thing about this kitchen was that it didn't have a full fridge. It had it's not a mini fridge. A lot of flats in London have this, but it's like just like a half-size fridge with a really small freezer. This living room area, it had this old couch, which I probably would need to negotiate its removal because I really don't like this couch. And then I love I don't know if it's a fake fireplace or a real fireplace that they covered up, but I love the little accent of that and the little white shelves on the wall. And then to the left of the living room, there was a bedroom area, which was equally as spacious. It also had room for a working desk. It had a wardrobe that was there, but it's actually the tenant's, so I would need to replace the wardrobe if I move in. Yeah, like overall, I liked this place. It had good bones. It only had 2 pieces of furniture, which is kind of nice because I could talk about the removal of it with the landlord. And then the next place I went was actually kind of a wild card because it didn't have any photos, but it just showed this like nice picture of this Victorian front. And I was like, no, I'll just go take a look and see it. When I went at my scheduled time, actually, I think the doorbell was broken or something, but no one came to the door. So I was like trying to contact the landlord, but like they weren't responding. Anyways, in the end, I couldn't get in at that time, so we agreed to come back later, even though it was quite out of the way just in terms of like all the other showings I was going to. But when I went to the area to like ring the doorbell, I was like, oh, this is really cute. It was really close to like Little Venice, and the actual building where the flat was in looked really cute, and I thought it could be one of the higher, you know, the ground, the second floor or the first floor flat, so that would have been really nice. Anyways, I'll show you guys that in a few showings. So after that one, we were actually meant to go meet an agent at an agency, but at that point we were exhausted because we were just running from showing to showing. So we just ended up getting some food in Notting Hill before another showing. So the next place I went was in Kensington in Zone 1. This place was listed for £1,236 a month. It was 290 square feet and it was a studio. I thought the pictures were okay. I was like, maybe I could make it work. The location is great. The price was a little bit high considering what you're getting, but I think that factors in the location. So when I first walked into this place, I kind of knew it wasn't it. Yeah, so first thing I noticed when I walked in was that this place did not let in a lot of light. There was only one little window, and although it has high ceilings, the window faced kind of like the back of the building. So this particular building kind of like jutted out from the other buildings, and it just kind of looked down kind of an alley behind the other buildings. So definitely not a lot of great light in this building. It felt really dark when we walked in. I also realized that the square footage included the mezzanine space that was on top of the ladder. So the actual like ground floor space was much smaller than I expected. So there is a lot of these kind of flats in Notting Hill where there is like 2 levels and there's a mezzanine and there's varying levels of finishedness to it. So I would say this is on the less finished side, where like the ladder did not seem like something you want to climb up every single day to go to bed, and the mezzanine level did not seem secure enough that I would feel comfortable sleeping in it, if that makes sense. There are some mezzanine levels that are more finished, more spacious, so you feel more secure climbing onto it because underneath is like a wall or something, but this was literally like floating in the middle of the space. Even the current tenant wasn't using it as sleeping space. She had a mattress on the ground floor level that she would like flatten out every night when she wants to go to bed, and then the top mezzanine place she just used for storage, which was not ideal for me. That means like you're losing even more square footage because you have kind of like this mattress on the floor. There are some pieces of furniture that came with it, like the sofa and the table, but yeah, like nothing that I would want to keep. The bathroom is actually really well finished considering the rest of the flat. But yeah, overall, wasn't in love with this place. The whole ladder situation just felt like an accident waiting to happen for me. So if you're guessing, it was definitely not this place. On to the next place. So the next place I went to was in the West End in Zone 2, and it was for £1,350 per month. It was a 1-bedroom and it was 430 square feet. So at first I thought this location seemed pretty good, but this particular area I felt was a little bit dodgy. It was kind of west of Shepherd's Bush, but it wasn't too bad because the actual flat was in the residential area, but I felt like the area around it didn't have like the neighborhood feeling I was looking for. It was also a bit further from the station. It would have been a good, I think, it would have been a good like 15-minute walk to the station. When I saw this listing, I was originally attracted to like the staircase and the cute little like window on the side and the window in the mezzanine level. So this one had a mezzanine level as well, but obviously it was more of an actual room. You could actually stand up on that level. The staircase was more built in. But when I saw it in person, I actually thought it was smaller and a bit darker than I thought it was gonna be. It also got a little bit cloudy. That definitely played into it, but the windows were quite small and didn't let in a lot of light. The bathroom once again was relatively new. Everything was furnished really well. A plus was that it had a bathtub. The kitchen was also quite nice. It was separated from the rest of the space, and there was like a little window, and it actually had a full-size fridge. It was actually a large kitchen considering London. It had like a little hallway of its own and a lot of counter space, and a full-size fridge, so that was kind of nice. The thing about this place, it had a little cute little balcony area, was like enough room for like 2 little seats, which was super cute. The only other thing was that it did also come, once again, it was a lot of old furniture, so like the big old black couch, which I felt really closed off the space. So definitely something I was considering whether, you know, the landlord would be willing to take out some of the furniture. So the next place I went was back to that place that I didn't get into. So this place was in Paddington and it was in Zone 1. It was being listed for £1,235 per month, and it was 220 square foot, and it was also a studio. I was going in here really blind. So this area was actually really cute. It was next to Little Venice, literally walking distance. But when I walked in, I knew this wasn't it. So not only was it not a lot of light, but there were just so many things wrong with this place. I'm not sure if I got good footage because it's really small and the tenant was there, so I just felt really awkward asking if I could film. But so when I was preparing for this video, I looked back at the listing and I saw they added pictures which were better than what I saw. I think the tenant rearranged the furniture, so it was a little odd. So when you walk in, there is a really big window on the left side, but once again, because this unit was at the back of the building, it faced the back of the other buildings. I don't know why I always end up seeing these units where the building juts out longer and the window just faces the back of the other buildings, but it had really high ceilings. It was obviously a very beautiful house before they sectioned it off into flats. It had like beautiful molding on the ceilings and okay, yeah, that was like the only thing nice about it. So when I walked in, the tenant was kind of trying to show me the place, and the fridge was kind of in the closet area, or what looked like the closet area next to the door. And then you walk in, she has the bed on the right, and then she has a little table on the left, and then you walk straight in, and then there's this kind of kitchen area, but it looks like it literally did not look like enough space for me to even get in and use the stove, and at the same time the washing machine was there as well. I think there was a window back there. I need to look at the footage to double check, but in the new pictures, they didn't even show the kitchen, probably because of how bad it was. But yeah, it was just like, I just couldn't. I just couldn't. In the pictures that she ended up posting to the listing at the end, the layout was a little more acceptable in that the mini fridge was actually closer to the kitchen, and then the bed was kind of in the closet area, and there was a proper dresser, which I totally missed when I was looking. But yeah, for the price, I definitely wouldn't go for this. Like, it was a little bit more than what I'm paying right now, and it was just not great. The only thing good about it was the location, and it wasn't even that great in the sense that you had to walk quite a bit to the station. It was just the area was kind of nice because it was in Little Venice. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I came twice to this place for that. I was like, no, this is just not, I just can't. So the next place I went was actually on a separate day, but I saw this listing come up and I thought I would give it a try. So this place was in Zone 1, very central, very close to King's Cross Station, literally like within central London, which I thought, I was looked at the location, I was like, oh, this is really great location. For the price also. So this place was listed for £1,175 per month, and it didn't say on the listing, but I would estimate it was somewhere around like 280 square feet considering all the other places I saw. So the first thing I noticed when I went to the area was that the area is not great considering it's central London. Just like the immediate surrounding area was a little bit like corporate and workish, so it wasn't like it's not like a Notting Hill, right? It was like a very like central London work environment, which obviously is not a big problem because you're in Zone 1. You easily can go to any other area pretty fast. So it was just like a little bit like, it's not as cute as an area as I thought it was going to be. The room itself was very new and recently renovated. It was a bit small compared to my current place, but it was much better than any of the other studios I saw. In terms of the size, and also like just because it was a new build, it was very clean. Everything was new. The washroom was new. The kitchen was new. The furnishings were also new, and they were kind of like muted. So definitely furniture that I could still use if I stayed there. But yeah, there was no like major red flags for me about this place. The window looked out onto like the street area, so it let in a good amount of light as well. And then the only thing was that everything was like very sterile, kind of like my current place. It was just like, you know, a blank slate which could be good. Anyways, that is all the places I saw. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's very obvious which one I ended up picking, but I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna be moving in next week, and I actually already got the keys, so I filmed an empty flat tour, which will be coming out very, very soon. Flat hunting in London is definitely a sport, I feel like. There were quite a few places that I asked to see, but because I didn't see them immediately, like the day after they were listed, they were off the market before I even got my appointment on the weekend. So it's definitely, if you want a place, you definitely want to see it as soon as it's listed, because a good place will go like immediately. For a lot of these places that I saw that were still like really nice, and it was still available on the weekends, were either because the tenants still lived there, so they only allow showings at this specific time, so everyone went at that time, like the weekend that it was available, and then it was off the market literally a few days after. Or it was because like the agents only showed on certain days. So if you're flat hunting, definitely have a sense of urgency when you're flat hunting, and if you see a place you like, make sure to go see it basically as soon as possible, or whenever the agent and tenant is available. Anyways, I'm pretty happy with my choice. I hope you guys will agree. I'm partially just glad that it's over with. I don't think I could have handled another weekend of flat hunting and just running around to different places, because I guess my range was so wide. I was okay, it was exploring a lot of different areas, but I was just like jumping around the tube like 20-30 minutes between locations, and it was actually like pretty hectic that day. But yeah, stay tuned for an empty flat tour, because I think decorating the place will take me a while. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing and liking the video. It'll really help out my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!